everybody, and welcome to another review. Today we'll be exploring some uncommon alternatives to cleaning your 3D resin printed Dungeons & Dragons miniatures. As many of you may know, there's currently a limited amount of products on the market for cleaning resin prints. As someone who develops and produces their own products, this has been problematic, so I thought I'd share what I discovered in my testing. To begin, let me make it clear that no company has paid me to review their products, and that all the products you see in this video were purchased by me for this purpose. There's a fairly large list of products which I've tested, however I will be showing you the ones which span the largest range of products, and if some of them didn't work at all, they were not included or mentioned later. For these tests, I will be using a slightly less toxic resin, which is advertised as being safe. However, I still recommend taking the normal precautions when handling this material. Let's establish some basic testing guidelines for the products which we're using. First and foremost, I didn't use any heat while testing these products. This is important since heat can often change the properties and in certain cases begin releasing fumes. Also, other than water, in most cases, no other products were mixed together. Other than agitating a product within the confines of a jar, no mechanical scrubbing was used. Whenever possible, items which weren't toxic, corrosive, or flammable were tested. However, for certain products, this couldn't be avoided. If obvious signs of melting were noticed, a more diluted version was also tested. However, if the results weren't promising, then these were deemed as failures, and in certain cases weren't included in the final notes. To start things off, I printed a series of test calibration models, mainly the Amber Labs calibration test, as well as the Twisted Rook. The products which were tested were quite varied indeed. I tested alcohol-free mouthwash, oil soap, odorless solvent, Mr. Clean, Mnet, baking soda, vinegar, Simple Green, but the most interesting results came from a select few products. Isopropyl alcohol is our control sample from which we'll be comparing all of the results to. Isopropyl alcohol has many benefits, including its reusability if used correctly. Although it removes the resin, if it's allowed to sit, the resin will separate from the alcohol, allowing you to pour it into another container. Doing this greatly increases its longevity. Simple Green is an all-purpose cleaner which boasts being a non-toxic biodegradable alternative. This product is similar to a liquid soap in certain aspects. According to the instructions, it's intended to be diluted with a 1:1 ratio for heavy-duty applications, and this is how it will be tested. Vim was tested at full strength as well as its diluted counterpart, and as you will see, the results were very similar. Natural Safe Strip is an interior paint and varnish remover which is labeled as a natural, ready to use, and non-corrosive. In the instructions, it mentions not to dilute with water. Therefore, 2 tests were completed with this product. The first test was a 50% mix of the remover with 50% water, while the second test was in its purest state. CLR is a multi-purpose cleaner which is known for cleaning calcium, lime, rust, and boasts that it doesn't damage the septic faucets. This product also comes with its fair share of warnings, which include specifics about its hazardous nature when mixed with other chemicals. This mainly means that it could potentially react with anything other than water and is something to keep in mind when testing. Murphy Oil is a wood cleaner which is an oil soap that's commonly found in most local cleaning supply stores. Most of the products used to make this cleaner are biodegradable and are fairly safe when used as directed. Terpenoid Natural is somewhat similar to isopropyl alcohol in that it doesn't mix with the original resin and can be poured out once settled. It is, however, more of an oil soap cleaner, so testing it for residues will be an important step. This product also claims to be non-toxic and doesn't have corrosive properties, which makes it more interesting as a possible alternative. Mr. M Clean Mnet is a concentrated product which is normally diluted prior to being used. The product is normally recommended to be left on the surface for approximately 10 minutes prior to wiping and cleaning the surface, and therefore 2 tests were performed. The first test will be in its diluted state, while the second test will be full concentration. Goof Off Pro Strength Remover is a cleaner which is well known for removing glue, tar, dried paint, and adhesives. This cleaner requires a well-ventilated area since it has strong odors and comes with both a poisonous and flammable warning on its label. This is a cleaner which, when used, normally doesn't tend to leave any residue since it evaporates quickly. The following products produced such terrible results that they weren't included in the final video. These products include water, vinegar, alcohol-free mouthwash, baking soda, degreaser, genetic odorless solvent, and lighter fluid. During testing, certain cleaners such as Yellow Magic Cleaner, acetone, denatured alcohol, or methylated spirits weren't tested because of local shortages. It is important to note that these products have yet to be tested for paintability or casting after treatment, and those will be separate upcoming videos. If you're interested in those results, please keep an eye out for those in the future. So what were the final results? Isopropyl alcohol did very well cleaning the final prints without leaving any unwanted residue and finished with an expected 10 out of 10 result. Simple Green wasn't very effective in its cleaning properties, leaving a substantial amount of residue on the finished print. It was for this reason that it scored a simple 2 out of 10 in its results. Vim scored very similar to the Simple Green with the same amount of residue left on the surface. As a result, it got the same score with 2 out of 10 being its final mark. Nature's Safe Strip scored extremely well in its final mark with a result of 10 out of 10. This product left very little residue if used with a 1-to-1 ratio when mixed with water. When used at 100% concentration, the results were actually poorer than when diluted, and maybe this is because of the difficulty of being able to apply this product along its surface. CLR didn't fare so well with a score of 2 out of 10 because of the amount of residue left on the surface of the print. Murphy Oil had the worst results, scoring 1 out of 10 with its wet and sticky residue. Illinois Natures had decent results with a small amount of residue along the surface and ranked 7.5 out of 10 in its final score. This product is probably best suited for an application where the second cleaning cycle is present or where the item can remain submerged in water after the initial cleaning cycle. Mr. Clean didn't do well in its performance. Its ranking was only 2 out of 10 in its final score. Furthermore, I can confirm from personal experience that the residue will react with certain silicones in such a way as to prevent these from fully curing. Goof Off did very well in its testing application and was comparable to isopropyl alcohol. The product didn't leave any residue and was quick in its cleaning application, even if the smell was quite strong. So as you can see, the following chart, there's a couple of options which may work depending on the availability of supplies in your area. Seeing as there's been a significant supply chain disruption, some of these may work as a suitable alternative for the time being. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe, and should you wish to support more content like this, you can do so by visiting my online shop, which is in the description below. For those of you who may not know, I do live streams twice a week on Twitch, so make sure to keep an eye out for those if you're interested. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you and take care.